Hello, hi, I'm Jeffrey with Basecamp Custom Vans. We just installed this water setup and thought I'd just, before I put the cabinet over it, well, it's just fully exposed, so it's a good place to stop and just to kind of explain how we do it, what we've figured out. I try different things, over the years, and this is the ideal setup. So, um, we just have cold water on this one, so it really keeps it simple. You can see in one quick glance, like, we could go through it real pretty straightforward. There's these water tanks will have four inlets, right, that you can tap into. So I kind of mix it up. I used to just do everything. First, we were doing everything with the barbs, with this barb tubing. Then I switched and did everything with the PEX. I've actually decided, just instead of going being rigid about it, it's like, well, what works best? The reason this works best, I use the 3/4 inch PVC, is because on these two, what we need these two for, the air inlet and the drain, I get this big 3/4 inch pipe. It chokes it off a little bit to have the PEX be the air to use PEX for the air tube, right? And then it drains a lot slower. So there's a method for it all, right? And I just mix. You can see we got three different ways, three different plumbing supplies here, and it's all for. There's a reason behind all of it, right? So here's a 1/2 inch PEX plumbing coming out of this bottom corner. Runs from the pump through the pressurizer and then right up to the sink here. It's real straightforward. It can be the whole system can be fixed or dealt with if there's any issues pretty easily. What'll happen is this is a stem. This faucet is from just a regular faucet that you get for kitchen use, and same with the sink. We use them in here. The way I use this is that I actually tee it off to go up on both the hot and the cold. Otherwise, if you just cap the hot side, if you just put a plug on it, your water will run on one part of it, but not on the if this works so that you can put it up or down, no matter how you work the thing, it's going to not have a dead spot on it. And I'll put this little switch in right here. I'll pop a 3/4 inch size hole right there, and these little plugs fit right into that spot, so you can turn the pump on and off. You want to be able to control that. It's a pressurizing pump, so that little pressurizing tank, they're a little bit extra money. They're totally worth it, because these pumps they want to keep the line pressurized. They can just keep pumping until the line, so when you shut the faucet off, it's not letting air in anymore, and it can pressurize the line right to the faucet. Well, the problem is that without that little second tank to the right of the pump has to pressurize it over and over. So 4 or 5 times an hour, you'll hear a little bit of water, a little bit of air will get in, and then you'll hear the pump go brr, 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 brr. And it's having to work like again and again, cycle itself a whole bunch of half a dozen times every hour. So for the life of the pump, it actually helps the pump work better. It just helps everything, right? To have that little pressurizing tank, and then the line never loses pressure, because that pressurizing tank is just keeping it dialed in. So after you turn the sink off, you'll hear it pump for another couple of seconds, because it's like repressurizing everything. It's a great system they've come up with. These are from the marine world. There's all kinds of these three. This is a Sea Flow, I guess. There's also Shore Flow and different brands, but they're all real similar. The way that they work, they're just self-pressurizing pumps. So then we've done, this is the fill. It'll go through the wall of the cabinet that I'm going to put around this whole setup, and that's pretty straightforward. But these two, the other two, are what I thought might be interesting to talk about. So like I said before, if you use like the smaller PEX plumbing or something the tank needs an air inlet. So one of the four, one of these top two has to be the air. The tank has to be able to breathe, or it'll collapse on itself, or that can be several different kinds of problems that we don't want to have. So instead of just an airline, we set it up so that the water sloshing around in the tank can kind of slosh back and forth without spilling a whole lot. So we don't lose any. If you go, basically, this is a 12-inch tank, and so if you go 6 inches like this, like I have this set up, half the height of the tank, above the highest point, the water will slosh into that and slosh back, and you won't lose any. So that's the reasoning behind that. And instead of just leaving it open like a lot of people might do, I have it set up to just drain out, and it allows it to be like an overflow. So if I'm filling out the hose, I can walk away and not pay attention. I can fill it all the way to the top, and it's just dumping out the bottom when it's full through the hole that we made, and so it's a kind of a safety. It's kind of a stop safe thing where it's like nothing bad's gonna happen if it overflows or gets too full. The bottom line is this is just also, so these are both on 3/4 inch PVC. So it's the thinner of all the PVCs, right? They go up to the common plumbing stuff is 1.5. So this is a nice manageable way to set it, to use some PVCs with the smaller stuff. And so, we have both lines that come down to this T. So you can, with this ball valve, turn it and dump the tank really fast. So when we were doing this with PVC, we found, with PEX. So I've done it where it had all 4 of these with PEX, right? And so this line to drain the tank just takes literally twice as long. This tank could be empty within a few minutes, whereas the PEX would just take a while. It's just a time thing, not a big deal. It worked both ways, but I like that. I like that the breather, especially that the breathing tube is a really big 3/4 inch hole. This is a big hole for it to be breathing out of, because this is actually a 1.5 inch adapter. That's an adapter for the 3/4. So it's a big hole that's letting this thing breathe. And so the tank will never have that problem where they'll kind of like collapse in on themselves or explode and break a seam. Either way, it's getting plenty of air and it can overflow, and that's pretty much a good overview of it. And yeah, of course, if you have any questions, I'm always happy to kind of talk about what we've learned and share it with everyone. That's what's half the fun. So thanks for checking this out, and we'll talk to you soon. Have fun.